Chapter 13. Mary. When they stopped for a break a few hours later, Mary stepped out of the store and headed for the other side of town. If she was really going to help Mr. Brown, she needed to see what they were up against. Though there were quite a few people at the new store. Most of them seemed to be there checking it out as she was. She didn't see very many people buying, which gave her hope, but she could definitely see the appeal that this store had that Mr. Brown's was lacking. The stove created an atmosphere that made people want to gather and chat. Her community board would help, but they would need something more than that. And the open area gave people room to move around and still see the wares. "Finding everything all right?" Mary startled at the masculine voice and turned to see a man with reddish hair and a full beard staring at her. "Oh, I'm merely looking, but yes, you've done a wonderful job with this store. If you don't mind me asking, do you have curtains?" "Curtains?" The man scoffed, and tiny lines broke out on his brow as it furrowed. "Why would I stock curtains? Don't women make their own?" "Yes, most do, I suppose, but I just moved here and haven't had time, so I was just wondering." Though she wasn't sure curtains would be enough to give Mr. Brown favor, the very fact that she could help him understand what women might want might give him an edge. This man didn't seem interested at all. In fact, as she looked around, she realized most of his wares appealed more to men. There were shaving items, clothes, shoes, hats, but there was very little for women. She couldn't even see basic pantry staples. "Well, I'm sure you'll find some nice women friends who could help you sew up some curtains. In the meantime, though, I have some items that would make a nice gift for your husband. I'm sure he works hard." Mary opened her mouth to tell him she wasn't married, but then thought better of it. She didn't like this man, or the way he was looking at her, and the less he knew about her, the better. "I'll be sure to look. Thank you." "You're welcome. Where did you say you moved from?" he asked, narrowing his eyes at her. "I didn't say," she said, and quickly turned to look at something else, hoping he would leave her alone. There was little chance he would know her, but his gaze gave her shivers. As soon as the man wandered off to talk to another customer, Mary skirted for the door. She couldn't wait to tell Mr. Brown what she'd found out. She knew exactly how to help him now. She was nearly bursting with excitement when she finally reached his shop. "Mr. Brown, I don't think you have to worry so much." "Miss Lockwood?" He looked up from the shelf he was moving in surprise. "What do you mean? Where did you go?" "I went to the new shop. I needed to see it for myself in order to help you better. But while the shop is more open and it's newer, I don't think you have much to worry about." "What do you mean?" he asked, coming closer to her. "The new shop doesn't cater to women. Nearly all of his products are for men. In fact, I asked him if he had curtains, and he told me it was my job to make them. He doesn't seem to think very highly of women. He barely even had pantry staples. Your shop not only has more basics that everyone needs, but you are willing to add items that women need. And with the catalog orders, you'll have even more that he can't offer." She was so excited that the words spilled out of her mouth like water from a faucet. "Slow down, Miss Lockwood. We don't even know if the catalog orders will work." Before she even thought about it, she reached out and grabbed his hands. "Oh, but they will. And when women realize they can order things they need that they'd rather others not see, it will get even better." He glanced down at their hands, and Mary let go, flames coursing up her neck and onto her face. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be so forward. I'm just excited." "No need to be sorry," he said softly. He opened his mouth to say something more, but the door to his shop opened first, and they jumped apart as if guilty of more than a simple touch. "Sorry it took so long," Elizabeth said as she entered with Carl behind her. "I had to help Carl finish something, and then I decided to make us lunch so we didn't have to stop to eat." She held up a basket, and then her eyes widened as she took in the store. "Oh, you've done a lot already." "What we've done is make a mess," Mr. Brown said, as he looked around at the inventory scattered on the floor. "But as soon as we move these shelves, we can start cleaning it up again." "Then let's get to work," Carl said, and as he and Mr. Brown began moving the shelves, Mary moved closer to Elizabeth and filled her in on what she'd told Mr. Brown. "Mary, that's wonderful. We know women do most of the shopping, and if we post events like quilting bees and recipe exchanges on the board, then I don't see how he can fail." "There's one more thing I need to tell you, though," Mary said, and she lifted her gaze to make sure the men were far enough away to not overhear. "I got so excited when I was telling Mr. Brown that I grabbed his hands." Elizabeth's eyes widened, and her gaze flicked to the men as well. "And? What happened?" "Nothing. As soon as he looked down at our hands, I let go, and you entered before he could say anything else. But I don't know what to do." "What do you mean? That's wonderful." Mary shook her head. "No, it's not. He doesn't know about my past, that I can't read." Elizabeth cut her off. "First of all, there are many women who can't read, and you are at least taking the steps to learn. As for your past, maybe I was wrong to tell you to hide it. I really think it wouldn't matter to Mr. Brown. Even if it didn't matter to him, it might to the other people in the town, and they might stop buying from him if they knew. I can't risk it. Not now. Not with the other store open." "But you just said the catalog will set him apart, as will the items for women." "Yes, but the other store could easily get a catalog as well, and then he would lose his edge." She shook her head again. "No, I can't take the risk." Elizabeth sighed. "I think you're wrong." But Mary knew she wasn't. She'd worked in the saloon longer than Elizabeth, and she knew just how judgmental people could be.